Okay, so I thought I would do a quick video here. I've done a few before this, but I haven't been releasing anything to YouTube. I don't know, many people know I got a couple jobs. I'm working at Goodwill, if anybody's familiar with that, helping them do warehouse work. Really nice job, great physical labor. Even though I'm a programmer by trade, I really enjoy moving around and picking things up. For the last few years, I've basically been sitting at a desk, and actually being active has made a huge difference in my life. I'm actually doing a lot better off health-wise, everything, which is great because it's improving everything, literally. I can type faster now because there's more strength in my hands, eating healthier, lost a bit of weight, so my mind works a little better now too because most people don't know this. When you're overweight, your brain slows down because you get as much blood flow or something like that. I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know the exact reason, but brain's working amazingly better, easier to think, which has been improving my ability to code. But I've not been working on Minecraft lately. I've started getting back into game development. This is something I've been doing as a hobby for a couple years now. I've made a few small games, nothing major. Haven't released anything. I thought right before I get really heavily into it, I'm going to show this little project off. I did this last year. Me, Grog, and a few other people were focusing on a tank game. Now, the idea was to do it on Mars. I know this background doesn't look like Mars, but that's ignorable. We actually do have a couple Martian maps. I just don't remember the level names since it's been a year. I figured I show this real quick, show a few different things here. Now I've got the game view open. I have to hit play to get it to work. This is a little hover tank. The model was done by our asset developer, Grogger. It drives. It's not highly performant. I think I only put like 2 hours of code in the actual driving part and the turret and everything. But it sort of moves. It's a hover tank. They're supposed to be animating wind trails, but they're not working. The turrets work. Once again, I only put a couple hours of work in these, so they're not perfect. Right now, HP is disabled, so the tank's not going to actually die, neither is the turret. But you can see there's a cannon round that fires. Really low polygon game. The plan was to use things like smooth shading to make the polygons go away so you didn't see them. But it sort of works. Loading's a bit of an issue. I legitimately don't know what code we have anymore for this. The game was working a lot better before. Actually, if I can snap this back up here. So we had a couple vehicles. The AA tank right here, which let me drag this out to the scene. Really cool looking tank. Also done by Grogger here. He's modeled like hundreds of small vehicles. They were all intended for this game originally. Now, as I said, this is not the game I'm going to be working on. The game I'm actually planning on doing is going to be a Tron-themed arcade game. Now, I'm not actually going to copy anything from Tron, but I like their artwork. I like how they've got that high contrast look where you got really bright neon lights on dark colors. So I'm going to try to aim for that visual, but the actual gameplay is going to be featured after your classic arcade games. So there's going to be no real storyline, no real point to do anything. The only goal is just complete the level, defeat the boss, stuff like that. Kind of how people play Mario. Just go through the level. You don't really have a reason. I mean, you can save the princess, but that's not why you're playing it. But yeah, we got this AA vehicle. Looks really cool. Doesn't work right now. I already tested it out earlier. This works partially. I think this is having some issues because it's colliding with the ground. That's the reason the steering was a little weird. Here's like the original tank I made for the game. Minecraft themed box tank. It works okay. But we'll show off the car real quick, and then I'll see if I can find one of the other maps here, and see if we can complete one of the levels actually as HP. Play here again, get over the game. Now this one works a little bit better. It's a basic car. Now, I programmed this in Unity 4, and now I'm using Unity 5, so the physics are a little wonky. However, so far it's doing okay. Machine gun still fires. Arc's a little high on this thing. Because the actual map I'm playing on is a normal Earth gravity map, and the map this was designed for was a Martian map, which has less gravity. So I put less gravity on the bullets to make them look like they were more Earth-like. So they didn't arc as much on the Martian map, but they arc a lot on the Earth-based map. But yeah, you see it shoots back. Once again, there's no HP, so this thing won't die. But it drives around half decent. If you can tell, the body actually twists like a real car does. So when you hit a really hard turn, if you've ever looked at a car, you'll see it tilts a little bit to the left. So this mimics that. It spins out a little bit when you make hard turns. I haven't got the physics down for it. Once again, this is a low model vehicle. I just told our asset developer, just do something quick. I didn't want anything heavy until we got the most of the game out of the way. So unlike what you see AAA games do, which they'll make high quality models up front, my methodology, make a whole bunch of low grade models, get the game in production, get everything done, get all the levels done, get all the story done, and then come back through and redo all the models in a high quality. That also allows you to do something cool, which you can flip the game into super low grade mode and you see small models, although I'm not sure that actually makes any difference. But yeah, that works. You can drive around. Um, let's see. I want to see if I can find one of the other levels. I think test scene is actually the level. That's not it. Ah, here it is. Here's a level I want to do. Ah, yeah, this one will work. Now here's one of the actual levels I was working on last time before I quit. As you can tell, that we actually got train here. Now the point of the game I was working on originally was to make a Martian game where Mars had been terraformed, because this is set like about 150 years in the future. So you have some advanced tech, but not a lot of advanced tech, because mankind actually goes into like a really bad dark age. There's resource wars and everything, but we'd already made it to Mars by that time. So you have the Martian people, which are not green aliens; they're actually Earthlings. We just call them Martians because now they lived on Mars, so they're Martians. But they go to Mars, they make like an empire, everything. Everything's pretty good. But then you get resource wars happen on Earth. Earth goes into a dark age, a lot of disaster. Mars loses complete contact with Earth. Originally, Mars was set up as a corporation state, so you had corporations actually controlling the planet, which were then being governed by Earth. So that way Earth was making sure that Martian people were being treated well and everything. But at the same time, corporations were running it, because if you've ever followed international law, nobody could actually own Mars. It's actually a really cool, interesting thing. None of the big nations are allowed to own Mars to prevent like a big war from happening. But in the game setup, they lose contact with Earth. They then turn into actual governments after a while. So you get like 5 major governments, a whole bunch of little small ones. And they go coexisting for like 50 years. And then back on Earth, somebody goes through and conquers the whole planet. Kind of like a Germany feudal state kind of conquer. So you get this huge problem going on. They're not treating people very well, but they've conquered the planet. Now they've got a totalitarian style state. They start to set their goals on the other planets in the system, because also you have Venus that was also colonized, the moon was colonized, and one of the moons around Jupiter was colonized, including the asteroid belts and everything. So now they're like, hey, we want to conquer everybody. So they go and they conquer the moon, and then they go and try to conquer Mars. So you end up trying to do that. But as you can tell, the HP system's not working. So that was the story idle. I don't know why the HP's not working. I remember the last version I worked on, the HP was working, and you could actually die. But that was using the Weasel Jeep. That little Jeep car I showed you earlier it's called the Weasel. That was originally what I was using, but I don't know why the tank isn't dying. Something weird on. These guys are firing, and oh, I died. I guess HP does work. Just a lot of HP, I guess. Oh, that's game development for you. You don't know what you're actually doing. But as I also said, I haven't touched this game for a year, but wanted to show it off before I started working on it, because the new game we're going to work on is an arcade game, but I'm going to use this code base before I begin, because as you can tell, the hover tank works. The HP system may not, but it hovers. It actually works. It moves around. The arcade game is going to be entirely hover tank based, so I'm going to strip this model off. We're going to replace it with another model. Let's see if I can find the folder here. Now, our asset developer has already started on a few tanks. Now, he hasn't hit them just right. As I said, I'll show you version 1. I already told him, yeah, we're not using this. This was his version 1 tank. I gave him a little crappy napkin doodle and like, hey, here, make a tank. And then he gives me this back, and I'm like, that's not what I was looking for, but we're actually going to use this. What I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to take that turret right there, mimic it, put it on all 4 corners, and then mess the front up a little bit, and we're going to use it as a small little enemy drone that's going to be the size of a baseball or something. Or not the size of a baseball, more like a beach ball. Big enough that you can shoot it, but not big enough you can see the details. So not going to waste the models because, I mean, he did a decent job real quick. I mean, once again, he did 5 minutes of work. Here's the second tank, a little bit better. He missed out on what I was trying to tell him to do. Because I'm looking for like a tuning fork style shape, so he now understands that he's working on a model. He hasn't got it to me yet because I've been at work and I haven't been communicating with him like the last couple of weeks. Though I get on and I play games with him, but that's not really communication. We're just trying to chill for a couple hours before I go back to sleep and then to work the next day. But so here's his new tank that he worked on. He said he took him about an hour to do this, and he said most of that was just watching TV, just kind of threw it together. So we got a little better tank. He's planning on working on some more. We got some level designs in here. Let's see what else we got here. Key. So we got some level designs already going that we've planned out. Now this level we're working on here is actually meant to be a shooting range level, because what we're going to do when we make the game, we're going to put it up on Steam. We're going to release a demo, a trial version, and then a full priced version. The full priced version is going to be like 20 bucks. Unfortunately, I'd like to make it cheaper, but Steam really rickrolls me, and so does the federal government. So I end up paying out half the price of the game, so like $10 to Steam, and then after that I get $10 back a copy, which then I pay the federal government like $5. So I only make $5 a copy. And the goal is to sell 10,000 copies and then split it between like 4 people. So not a lot of money. Enough to pay for my college, but not enough to do anything. That's if we even get the game done. Because I only got about 90 days before I go back to school. And once I go back to school, I'm going to be working and doing school and nothing else. Which is unfortunate. I'm probably going to have to find somebody to do a couple of my mods for me. But here's a quick level. This is a target practice. The red squares here. These are targets. That's the player. Nothing to really look at. These are small levels. The plan is to do levels that take 5 to 10 minutes to get through each, and then do some 50 levels for the game, and then have maybe like 6 vehicles you can go through, and maybe 20 power-ups. Not a very complicated game. Then again, it doesn't cost that much money. Though I think when we make enough profit off of it, I'm going to drop the price by half down to $10, because after all, it's an arcade-style game. I want as many people as possible to play it. That's also why we're giving out the trial version and a demo. The demo is going to be really quick, and then the trial version is going to be a larger download, because the demo we want to be 100 megabytes, very small, quick download. And the trial version may be up to a gig, and then the demo is going to have 3 levels, the trial is going to have 10, the full game is going to have 50, and then we may release a couple free DLCs down the road. I'm still not quite sure exactly how we're going to do that. I don't have a full marketing plan set up, and I'm no clue how to really handle Steam at this point. I'm just going to make a game and wing it. If I don't get it on Steam, I'm going to put it up my website for free. I really don't care. The main goal actually is not to make money off this. I just want to make a game. A couple of my other buddies want to make games, because we want to go from this tank game to make 2 more tank games. So we got the Mars game, which we're going to do later, but we have another game which is going to be based on a planet called Icarus, and you'll be playing this metal alien race. So the planet Icarus, and you'll hear more about this because we're actually developing this as a mod pack for Minecraft as well, is that you have this planet that's comprised of like 30, 40 different races. And they've coexisted for a long time. Most of the races were not from the planet originally, considering the planet is a kind of hyperspace style planet. So you had this race that just built up their technology. Now they've communicated with other races, so other races come in. Well, that's ignorable. That's not really part of the story. But you have the planet's controlled by a race called Mannheim. They're a bunch of dicks. And then you have some of the lower races that do various things for them. One of the lower races creates this metal, special organic metal that they can use to build with. The special organic metal ends up malfunctioning and creates this subspecies race of organic metal people. So they look like me and you, except that they're made out of metal. They can't transform like a Terminator can or anything. But they're made of metal, they're really strong, they're hyper intelligent, and they're like a hive mind style race. And you end up playing them in the game. And of course, this will be a tank-based game. I may make an RTS at it later, but that will be down the road when I've got more experience in AI development than I currently have. So even though I'm really good with AIs in Minecraft, I struggle a little bit when I try to make AIs play RTS games, because I don't have any experience with that. But the tank game will be pretty easy, because basic AIs, you just tell it like, hey, go around this corner and start shooting. But the tank game will be based on Icarus. You're this race of metal people. You're getting exterminated basically by the Mannheim. The Mannheim don't want you alive. The normal people of the planet could care less technically. You end up befriending some of them, and they decide to let you live. The Manhunt eventually end up getting their asses kicked by the main player, and they make a deal that if the race, which I think at this point we're calling the Starlick, I think what they're called is some German word. A couple of the names we're using are German based, and neither me or Grogger actually know what they mean, to be honest. He's writing the story, I'm basically programming it. Amazing story. Whenever he feels comfortable, we're going to release it. He's right now got like 30, 40 pages for a book already written out for this, and it's really good. He's got it going from the starting point when they get created. He explains some of the backstory. Doesn't get too much in the backstory, which is good. It leaves us a lot of room to detail that out in other stories. But it reads pretty well. I mean, I've read a lot of books. His work is, for him not having any professional training or anything in writing, it's really good. We're basing that game off that. And we plan to do a series of games off that, and we're doing a mod pack. Now the mod pack is called Shadow City. Now there is a mod pack with the same name and already in existence, and this is made by the same group that's going to be helping me out make the mod pack. They originally started this mod pack with the same concept of multi-race people on the planet Icarus. Me and Grogger stepped in and kind of been helping them out. We've evolved their storyline a lot. Like, we gave them the name for the planet. We've detailed out a lot of races. We've got like 23 races now. And they're actually detailed out. We've got some backstory for them, interaction. Already got some conflicts going between them. We're planning on making several races from Minecraft to go along with the advanced rocketry mod made by Z-Master. I've already told him I'm going to make him like some 90 different planet types and like dozens of races. A lot of the races are going to be done through the Artillex mod, which I've already been working on. That's going to co-op with the advanced rocketry mod pretty heavily, because I really want to spend a lot of time doing alien races, and the Artillex mod, even though it's aimed after medieval times more than anything else, is going to have several progression tier lines in it made through add-ons. Because the core mod is going to just have basic functionality in it, then you'll download an add-on and it'll add like the Renaissance Age. Download another add-on, it'll give you the Industrial Age. Another one will give you electrical, nuclear, World War I, World War II, modern, future, like alien races, and so on and so on. It's going to be add-on heavy, but if I gave out the mod with everything in it, and most people don't realize this, the mod itself would probably be 200 megabytes. And knowing Minecraft is only like 5 or 6 megabytes, that's pretty large. But there's a lot of work that'll be with that. The main bulk of that download is going to be models, but there will also be a lot of database files. I'm going to try to make a public database for it, but some of you guys play single player and offline, so it's going to be a little hard to achieve. At this point, I'm rambling, so I'm going to close the video out, and I'll talk to you guys later.